Hey, what's up? It's Pat, and I recently got asked a question about what is flow in rap. Because a lot of times in my freestyle training, I talk about before you focus on rhyming, it's good to build your flow muscle first and to build your flow. And so one of the students asked, okay, well, what do you mean by flow? So it's a great thing that he asked, and now we're going to cover it, my definition and what the Wikipedia definition. The Wikipedia definition is flow is defined as the rhythms and rhymes of a hip hop song's lyrics and how they interact. The book How to Rap breaks flow down into rhyme schemes, and rhythm, also known as cadence. Flow is also sometimes used to refer to elements of the delivery, pitch, timbre, volume as well, though often a distinction is made between the flow and the delivery. Okay, so I have a slightly different definition. So when I talk about flow, I'm talking about making sounds with your voice rhythmically over a beat. And it doesn't mean it has to rhyme, it doesn't have to be crazy, it doesn't have to be fast or slow, it could be anything, but it's just making sounds with your voice over a beat. And that's kind of like the foundation of learning how to freestyle, learning how to rap, is being comfortable coming up with flows when you hear a beat. And I'm gonna give you some examples in a little bit, but just coming up with flows. So rap flow is really important. It's really the foundation of what you're doing, of everything you're doing, whether you're songwriting, you need to have a flow first. It makes it a lot easier when you have a flow. So when you're freestyling, if you already have a flow in mind, you're just adding words. When you're writing songs, you have a flow, and then you add the words after you have your flow first. And that's gonna make sure that your raps stay on beat. It's gonna make sure you are doing unique things with your flow over the beat, and it sounds cooler. An example of how pros use flow, if you've ever seen pro rappers at a radio show, and they kind of mess up and they start getting made fun of a lot, usually what happens is they're rapping some words, but then all of a sudden they start going,
Young nigga from the west side of town, red hair, gold teeth, but a nigga not a clown.
And then they get back into the rap. But what that shows is that even though they forgot their words, they still have their flow. They have a sense of where the words would go, but then they weren't able to come up with words in time. And if they took my class, they would know how to have more words and be able to say stuff. The good thing is, because they already have flow, freestyling and writing songs becomes a lot easier. Because what pros do in the studio is they put on a beat, and I'm gonna give you an example of this, and then they start freestyling a rhythm without even saying words. They'll be like da 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 da. They'll start scatting. They'll be like da 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 da, and they'll keep on coming up with different flows for a beat till they come up with something interesting that they like, and then be like, oh, that's an interesting flow. That'd be really cool if I add lyrics to that. And then they add lyrics to that flow, and that's how they make their song. So the flow is really important. The flow is the foundation. So it's something you can do when you're listening to a beat. Try to come up with the flow first, like da 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 da. Whatever flow comes to you, try to come up with a flow that's kind of unique and interesting to you. Record the flow and then add lyrics to that, and that will make it so your song flows better. I have a whole course teaching that, the 8 steps to rapping like a pro, where I show you how you can steal pro flow and combine that into your own skill. So that's a really good thing to do. So I'm gonna play this beat and give you an example of just coming up with a flow on the spot. So this is a beat that I made. It's on my YouTube channel. So an example of what a pro would do in the studio, they're writing a song. They would first come up with a flow, like maybe an intro flow. All right, so I'd be like, and then from there they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or be like, oh, maybe that's kind of boring. Let's see if I can make a more interesting flow. And they'll try to come up with maybe some other flow like this. Yo, about this bitches that is the fight to fit into heist to feast the foe, seeking the force the past the phone, pitching top on to kiss the foe. But I base to fit the foe, pitching fits the people, so we think up these the people, oh, we bring action to eat so. The slam ship it to fake it to foam, shape it, a folk ship it to get it, your girl naked. You know, so come up with that flow and be like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. What if I added lyrics to that? That would be awesome. So that's how people come up with flow. It's something you can do. Put on a beat, see what kind of rhythms, see what kind of patterns you can do. Don't let the words distract you from finding your flow, because a lot of times people are so caught up in words and making it dope and making the wordplay cool and the metaphors cool that they forget about the actual flow, and they kind of hold you back. So don't worry about the words, don't worry about the rhymes. Maybe you'll kind of naturally come up with places where you want rhymes to go when you're flowing, but allow the flow to kind of dictate your rap, and it'll make it a lot better. So again, for me, what rap flow is just saying noises over a beat rhythmically. Because if you use that definition, then you don't have the pressure to come up with words and rhymes right away, right? All these other definitions definition is talking about coming up with rhymes. But if you're focused on rhymes and the words and the wordplay, then it's going to mess up your flow. So it's better to focus on the flow first. And the wordplay comes because you have to use wordplay to make your words fit to that flow. When you're writing it and to make your words fit, it's going to take a lot of wordplay and metaphors and similes to make your words fit to that flow. So I hope that helps. Hope that gives like a clear example of what flow is. So I recommend using this definition of flow because it makes it more simple for you. It makes it easier for you to freestyle and write songs if you focus on the flow first and then add the lyrics. If you're freestyling, I have a lot of training on freestyling. I have my training below. I have a lot of free training on my channel. Check all of that training and that'll make sure you never run out of words. But the cool thing about these pros who mess up during the freestyle is that you'll notice they don't stop their flow because they know that when they're making their songs, having that flow, having that cadence is the most important. So practice scatting over beats, record it. If you like one of the flows you come up with, try to write raps to that flow. It might take a while, especially if it's your first time. But when you do it, it's going to make your raps sound a lot better. It's what XXXTentacion does. It's what all the pros do is they come up with a flow. They go, oh, that's interesting. What if I turn that into words? That'd be sick. And they do it. That's flow. All right. Hope that helps. Press like, subscribe, share. Love me. Bye.